Okay, welcome everyone to this Monk Life live stream, this community meditation practice, community study of the Buddha's teachings. Today we are going to be reading together Zen stories and having some discussion and sharing about our understanding or the wisdom that we find within those stories. After that, we will practice meditation together. And so it will be meditation and reading and also dialogue. So a good practice today. If you're watching this after the live stream is already over, if you're watching this later when it's not live, go ahead and move your dial, move the cursor to the 10-minute mark, and that is when we will officially begin. And of course, if you're here now and you're joining live, then we'll just be kind of settling in and giving people time to join us for the next 10 minutes, 9 minutes now, and then we will officially begin at the 10-minute mark. Okay? So welcome everyone. Glad to have you here. Hey there, Liz. Glad to have you joining. Hello, Katal.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm not bad today. How are you?
You're a what? You're having a great
Not
day?
bad, not bad. How are
Oh,
you?
not great, not bad. I'm doing well, having a good day.
That's
Having a
good.
lovely day. Yeah. We having some work being done at the temple to kind of repaint our walls and stuff like that. So I've had a lot of stuff going on here in the temple. Okay, great. Hi there, Liz and Lydia, Majed and RK.
I'm here. Hello.
I am here also. We have that in common. Oh,
That's awesome.
yeah. Hi there to Nikki and Keem and Mei Lee over on YouTube. We have about 6 minutes before we will officially begin. Yeah, of course, Lydia. You don't have to use your voice or to share your camera. You can just join along um, however you like. If it's even more convenient, you can just watch through YouTube, Lydia. But you can also sit in here. Okay, Mei Li. Hey there, Roni on YouTube. Just another 5 minutes until we begin. Hi, Kit. How's it going?
Hello, in a loud area once again.
You're in a loud place?
Very much so.
So the loud places are the best places for us to practice our inner silence, our deep listening. If you are watching on TikTok, we are going to be beginning in just about 3 minutes. And if you want to really join in for this group meditation practice, I recommend you go over to the YouTube channel and watch through there. Right. Hello, Rebecca and Steve. Rebecca, I think this is the first time I've seen you joining here on Discord. Oh, hi, Chesh on YouTube, and Jeff also over on YouTube, and Armin.
Greetings, Bonte. Are you suggesting that it's better to join on YouTube rather than Discord?
No, just for some people watching on a TikTok. So that's why I
Gotcha.
recommended for them to join through YouTube. But for some
Very good.
people, yeah, for some people, if you're joining on Discord, might be even better to join on YouTube, just to find whatever platform is most convenient for you. You're welcome, Steve. Okay. Hello, Abi and Ariana. Welcome. So we can kind of take a few moments as we are at the 10-minute mark here. Take a few moments to get settled, to find a comfortable position for our body. And we can start to bring our attention and our awareness onto the breath. So we're going to be listening together today to some Zen stories. Some stories from, in many cases, a feudal Japan, of Zen masters and their interactions with other people and just general teachings in this tradition of Zen. So it's a really good opportunity to connect with our practice, to connect with our meditation, and really this mind of awakening, this mind of cutting through our suffering, cutting through our confused thinking. And so to take this opportunity, to really take advantage of it, we need to first collect ourselves. We need to first bring ourselves into this moment, into this time, into this experience that is here and now. So in doing that, firstly, we find a comfortable position for our bodies. And to take these few moments to kind of adjust and move our bodies, we're also setting our intention. So our bodies aren't so loosey-goosey, but we're finding a position for our body of intention, of awareness, of sincerity. So we can all take a moment to find that position, whatever that may be for you. And as we find that comfortable position for our bodies, we can bring our attention and our awareness onto the breath, starting to notice and to be aware of the breath coming deeply into the body, deeply into the lungs, into the stomach. Breathing deeply, bringing our awareness into the body. And as we breathe, settling more and more into this present experience, this moment, this unfolding. And as we settle ourselves into that experience, we bring up our intention that we really do want to be here, or we ask ourselves, do we really want to be here? Is this a time that we want to use and to dedicate to spiritual practice, to awakening, to deepening our understanding of ourselves and of reality? Why are you here? In asking that question, we can find a reason, or we find that we don't have a reason, and we simply click away. We go away from this place. But if there is a reason, if there is an answer to that question of why are you here, then really bringing that reason into your heart, touching into your own sincerity, your willingness to practice, your willingness to listen deeply. to really show up and be here at this moment. Settling into this experience of just breathing and being aware. Very intimate, very present, a deep sense of showing up right here and right now, whatever that means for you. Not relying so much on conceptual thought or thinking or understanding, but relying on this breathing and being aware. Allowing your mind to unfold as your awareness settles into the body. As your awareness settles into breathing and being aware. And we notice the mind flares up. We notice our habit to always be involved in activity, in movement. We notice that and return to this just breathing and being aware at this moment. Considering that there may really be some wisdom, some opportunity for peace and for deep understanding in this opening, in this awareness itself, rather than our thinking and our concept and our belief. Totally settling into breathing and being aware. No separation between the mind and the body, but as we breathe, truly bringing the mind home to the body. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, as much as you like, please try to keep with your meditation practice throughout our reading and discussion. The heart of what we are reading about, the heart of where we are discussing from, is from this intimate, moment-to-moment, direct experience that we're having right now. And so you are more than invited, you are encouraged to take this entire event, this entire coming together, as an opportunity to just breathe and be aware. No complicated ideas, nothing added, nothing taken away. To practice breathing and being aware. And from that place of awareness, deep listening, without any kind of effort needed. So today we are going to be reading Zen stories together and Zen teachings together. So our practice is to be in a meditative space, a meditative practice, personally. And we're really relying on one another's practice, on one another's meditation mind to really explore these teachings together and to receive them very deeply. We are relying not only on one another's sincerity in practicing, but also in this inspiration, this encouragement that comes about from having a community that is gathered and that we're all kind of looking in the same direction. We're coming together, and so there's an inspiration to really keep us at the razor's edge in our practice. So how we will do this is that we'll read through a few Zen stories, and after we read through them and after we practice deep listening, there will be an opening, a space for sharing. And so if there's an insight, if there's an idea, if there's a question that comes up for you from listening to this teaching, you bring it up and we will talk about it together. But whatever we share and whatever we question, really coming from this meditation mind, not so much about intellectualizing or debating, but what comes up from our heart, what comes up from our experience as we listen to these teachings. Okay? Sound good to everyone? Great. Sadhu, sadhu. Okay. So we're going to start with this story on sitting meditation. And as we read through this, you can stay with your breath, stay with your meditation practice. No need to figure it out, just to be open and to listen deeply. Someone asked the great master Bankai about sitting Zen. So someone asked this Zen master about the practice of sitting meditation. He replied, "Harmonization with the ineffable wisdom inherent in everyone before getting involved in thinking and conceptualization is called meditation." So for posterity's sake, I will repeat this line again, although I'm not sure what posterity is. So someone asked this great Zen master about sitting Zen, sitting meditation. He replied, "Harmonization with the ineffable wisdom inherent in everyone." Ineffable is too great or extreme to be expressed or described in words. So ineffable is too great, too extreme to be able to be expressed or described in words. It is almost not to be uttered. It couldn't be uttered. It couldn't be spoken of. Harmonization with the ineffable wisdom inherent in everyone, before getting involved in thinking and conceptualization, is called meditation. Detachment from all external objects is called sitting. Just closing your eyes and sitting there is not what I call sitting meditation. Only sitting meditation attuned to subtle knowledge is to be considered of value. All confusion is a matter of revolving in vicious circles of delusion because of using thoughts. When angry thoughts come out, you become a titan. A titan here is like a vengeful god, a vengeful, powerful entity. So all confusion is a matter of revolving in vicious circles of delusion because of using thoughts. When angry thoughts come out, you become a titan. A deep state of craving makes you an animal. Clinging to things makes you a hungry ghost. If you die without giving these up, you revolve in routines forever, taking on all sorts of forms, whirling in the flow of birth and death. If you detach from thoughts, there is no confusion, so there is no cause or effect. There being no cause or effect, there is no revolving in routines. As long as you entertain thoughts, when you cultivate good thoughts, there are good causes and effects. And when you do wrong, there are bad causes and effects. When you have detached from thought and tuned into subtle knowledge, there are no causes or effects of birth or death. When I speak this way, it seems like a vision of nothingness, but it is not so. The reason I say that this is not nothingness is that when I say so, each of you hears it. Even though you do not think of hearing, because the original knowledge innate in everyone is effectively aware. You can hear distinctly. So even though you do not think of hearing, because the original knowledge innate in everyone is effectively aware, you can hear distinctly. When you touch fire or water, you know it is hot or cold. Yet no one learns to feel hot or cool. This is working beyond thought. So even if there is no thought, it cannot be called nothingness. This inherent subtle knowledge comprehends everything without involvement in the dualistic ideas of being and nothingness. Just as a clear mirror reflects the images of things distinctly, so what discursive thought is necessary for this? Discursive thought is there because there is confusion. Discursive here meaning jumping from subject to subject, having the mind of figuring out, having the mind of solving, this or that, this or that. This is working beyond thought. So even if there is no thought, it cannot be called nothingness. This inherent subtle knowledge comprehends everything without involvement in the dualistic ideas of being and nothingness. Just as a clear mirror reflects the image of things distinctly, so what discursive thought is necessary for this? Discursive thought is there because there is confusion. When you arrive at non-discursive knowledge, you perceive and distinguish things before discursive thought. So in the end, there is no confusion. That is why non-discursive knowledge is valued. Non-discursive knowledge, so knowledge that is not based in jumping from subject to subject, idea to idea, figuring out, understanding in our usual way. So discursive thought in our meditation is there because there is confusion. When you arrive at non-discursive knowledge, you perceive and distinguish things before discursive thought. So in the end, there is no confusion. That is why non-discursive knowledge is valued. For this reason, sitting meditation with unfabricated subtle knowledge is the highest practice of Zen. So this collection of stories has a lot of variety, and the story part of this story was only someone asked the great master Bankai about sitting Zen, and the rest was this kind of a dissertation, this teaching about the nature of Zen and the nature of a Zen meditation or a non-discursive meditation. But I just want to repeat this first part because it goes into a lot. But this first part is our kind of invitation to discussion or sharing what people got from that. If you do have something you feel inspired to share. This first paragraph, someone asked the great Master Bankai about sitting Zen, and he replied, harmonization with the ineffable, unspeakable wisdom inherent in everyone, before getting involved in thinking and conceptualization, is called meditation. Detachment from all external objects is called sitting. Just closing your eyes and sitting there is not what I call sitting meditation. Only sitting meditation attuned to subtle knowledge is to be considered of value. Okay, anyone have thought about this, question about this reading? Something that's maybe some insight that you got from it, something that you were inspired by in the reading?
I think part of it's about not getting too materialistic.
Not being too materialistic, yeah, that's quite important for sure.
Feels like when being focused is on the task.
What was that, Dorian? What did you say?
Said that non-descriptive thinking, it feels like being very focused on the task.
Okay, maybe a single focusedness, so only focused on the meditation itself, not focused on any kind of result. Yeah. During this exercise, there's no kind of push to share or to come up with something. In fact, if you feel that you're almost at the edge of your seat, I've got to say something, I've got to share something about this text, you can take a step back, you can wait. And then if you are in a position where you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't share this, or I got an insight from it, but I shouldn't share, then you should share. And finding that balance point or that middle point for all of us is to just practice breathing and being aware. To just really experience and apply this practice. No need to get involved in any kind of discursive thinking. Okay, Keem shared something in the YouTube live chat. Keem says, I don't assign the practice of meditation with sitting to meditate. It's more about the mindset, the will to explore one's mind, no matter the activity that is currently being experienced. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Keem. All confusion is a matter of revolving in vicious circles of delusion because of using thoughts. If you detach from thoughts, there is no confusion, so there is no cause or effect. There being no cause or effect, there is no revolving in routines. Just this breathing and being aware. Okay, Kit says emptiness is form, form is emptiness. Thank you, Kit. And Lydia says, it made me think about the difference between sitting down and then sitting down but thinking. I don't know how to explain it. Ha ha. If we can feel comfortable in that position of not knowing how to explain it, I think it can be quite easy to let go of those discursive thoughts, trying to figure out, trying to understand what it is that we're doing. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what exactly I'm supposed to be doing or experiencing. Just this breathing and being aware. Anyone else like to share on this story? Anything come up for you? So, we go to our next story. We won't linger here. Our next story is The Way to the Way. Sokai had been in the congregation of Zen Master Daiyu for a year, when he suddenly had an insight one night as he was getting up from his meditation. So we can understand Sokai is this Zen monk. Daiyu is the head monk, the master monk of this temple, this congregation. Sokai had been in the congregation of Zen Master Daiyu for a year, when he suddenly had an insight one night as he was getting up from his meditation. Going to the teacher, Sokai presented his understanding. So Sokai presented to his teacher his experience and what he understood. Daiyu said, Master Daiyu said, "You have gotten into the hall, but you have not yet entered the room." Sokai asked, "Why do you say that?" Daiyu quoted a scriptural saying, "Don't dwell on anything, yet enliven the mind." And he asked Sokai, "What does it mean to yet enliven the mind?" Sokai replied, "When you look for the mind, it cannot be found." Daiyu said, "After all, you haven't attained penetration. You haven't directly understood this enlightenment." Sokai retorted, "I do not agree to doubt." Raising his voice, Daiyu said, "No, no. If you really want to attain the way, you must die completely once. Only then you can realize it." So what's this one about? This a little bit more mysterious. This is a short one, so maybe I will read it again. Then we can discuss about it. The way to the way. Sokai had been in the congregation of Zen Master Daiyu for a year, when he suddenly had an insight one night as he was getting up from his meditation. Going to the teacher, Sokai presented his understanding. The master said, "You have gotten into the hall, but you have not yet entered the room." Sokai asked, "Why do you say that?" So Daiyu, the meaning of that is kind of like you have had an experience of insight. You have had some kind of good experience, but you have not yet penetrated it. You don't really understand quite yet. You haven't gone the full way. And Sokai asked, "Why do you say that?" Daiyu quoted a scriptural saying, "Don't dwell on anything, yet enliven the mind." And he asked Sokai, "What does it mean to yet enliven the mind?" Sokai replied, "When you look for the mind, it cannot be found." Daiyu said, "After all, you haven't attained penetration." So here, Daiyu quoted a scriptural saying, a traditional Zen saying that's very accepted and highly regarded, and then questioned Sokai on how do you understand this? So what does it mean to yet enliven the mind? And Sokai replied, "When you look for the mind, it cannot be found." And Daiyu responded that that wasn't quite what I was looking for. That wasn't quite satisfactory enough. You didn't represent in that response that you really deeply understand. After all, you haven't attained penetration. Sokai then retorted, "I do not agree to doubt." So possibly Sokai saying here that he does not agree to doubt his own realization, his own understanding. And raising his voice, Daiyu said, "No, no. If you really want to attain the way, you must die completely once. Only then can you realize it." So, thoughts, sharing.
Yeah, I think the student was too attached to his realization, because I don't think realization is liberation, you know? So I think he was really attached to his realization, but the teacher is saying, um, you have to let it all go, you know? If you have to die completely, you have to let the realizations go. So,
I did not understand what penetration means.
The penetration here is to see clearly into your nature, to see clearly into this freedom from attachment, freedom from suffering. So this is referring to like an enlightenment experience. Do you really see your nature? Have you really cut through fully your idea of a fixed self and idea of yourself being a character in a story? Have you really seen through the veil? Do you see completely clearly? So that is what this idea of penetration is about. And the general idea of this story is related to kind of Zen practice going back through history, where a meditation student or a young monk is practicing a lot of meditation and studying to have a realization, to end their suffering, to have a transformation. And we're all doing that to one degree or another. And so when you have this insight, when Sokai had this insight, this clear seeing in his meditation, he brought that insight, he brought that understanding to his teacher to check about the legitimacy or the authority of that insight. How deep was that experience really? And so he brought that to his teacher to check and said, "Look, I had this experience. What do you think about it?" And the master basically said, "Yes, you've had an experience, but you don't really quite get it yet." Um, Yeah.
I would just say I took this student wanted to be at a place where he just wasn't at yet, and he just kind of was trying to exceed what he could already do. But I don't know. That's a really deep story, kind of. It's a lot to think about.
Remember, all of us here, we should remember as we are speaking and sharing, we want to also let the silence speak. And we can say that the silence or the space is the preeminent guest here. And we don't want to step on the silence. We don't want to push our way through that silence. We should always, in between our sharings and in between our questions and the invitation to speak, always allowing that silence to arise and have their voice heard. In our usual way, we're always jumping one thing to another constantly. And if we're having a conversation with someone, when can I speak? When can I speak? That mind, when am I going to be able to respond? Jesus, geez, when is this person going to stop talking? So I can respond to them. But here we want to always allow that silence, allow that space to have a voice. And that's really the heart of our meditation, our deep listening, as we explore this together. Now, that's not to discourage anyone from sharing. It's not the intention, but just to always allow that silence to have a space. So we have someone sharing in the YouTube live chat, Brian Shear. Brian says, the student got a glimpse of what it feels like to completely let go of themselves. But they didn't go all the way, because if they did, they would realize there wouldn't be anything they could say about it. Once you achieve that realization, you only die once, because you see who you really are and what the world truly is. Okay, thank you, Brian. Very interesting.
So there was this other Zen master who said this thing. Like, I don't remember who the master was, but what the saying was you can't wash your face with ice. You need water to do that. And what seems to be the case here is there's this student who, well, genuinely had this experience of, this dynamic, alive experience of emptiness. But then he took a picture of it and stuck it on his wall and froze it.
Thank you, Abby. That's great. Liz says on the YouTube live chat, if you are in your mind, you haven't entered the room. When you've entered the room, you are in a state of being and not in the mind. Okay. Thank you, Liz. Kit has a question, also in the Discord text channel, voice text channel. Kit says, is to die in this case relating to being without needing or having? Maybe, Kit. Anyone else have an answer to that kind of question that Kit asked? Maybe someone else has an insight into that.
I don't have a direct answer, but I could read a koan that slightly long that kind of has the instructions at the end.
Okay, Abi going to share something here. Go ahead, Abi.
So this is case 32 of the Shōroku, Kyōzan's state of mind. Attention. Kyōzan asked a monk, "Where were you born?" The monk replied, "Yu province." Kyōzan said, "Do you think of it?" The monk replied, "I think of it always." Kyōzan said, "Subjective thought is mind, objective thought is the environment. Therein, there are such things as mountains, rivers, the great earth, towers, and buildings, people and animals. Reflect upon the mind that thinks. Isn't something there?" The monk said, "As far as that, I don't see anything at all." Kyōzan said, "As a belief, that's quite all right. As a person, that's not all right." The monk said, "Osho, do you have any particular instructions?" Kyōzan replied, "To say I have something particular or not misses the point. As for your view, it reaches only one mystery. In taking a seat and wearing robes, observe it for yourself later on. End of case.
Well, that's a case closed. Thank you so much, Abi, for sharing that. And just another reminder, we need a constant reminder for this, is that this space together really is a meditation practice. So we are coming back to our method of meditation, breathing and being aware. We are relying on our awareness rather than our thinking or figuring out. We're coming back to this state of practice, not of thinking or understanding. Great. So we'll go ahead and move on to let's say, our final story here, which is entitled Liberation. And after this final story, there will be a special surprise, so please stick around and don't run off right now. So this story is entitled Liberation. Ohashi, the courtesan, was the daughter of a vassal of the shogun. She was sold into prostitution by her father after he had lost his position and had been reduced to extreme poverty. This is in feudal Japan. Ohashi was charming, intelligent, and well educated in literature and the arts. As a result of her accomplishments, she became a famous courtesan in the red light district of Kyoto. Unable to reconcile herself to the misfortune that had befallen her, Ohashi lapsed into an incurable depression and began to waste away. One day, a visitor noticed her condition and asked her if she was depressed about something. Ohashi explained to the visitor how everything had come about. The visitor said, "No wonder you are sick. It would cost 1,000 pieces of pure gold to cure your ailment. There is, nevertheless, a way to get free from it, but I'm afraid you won't believe." Ohashi insisted, "If you tell me the truth, how could I doubt? Please teach me." So the visitor explained to Ohashi, "In your whole body, there is nothing that acts apart from perception and cognition. Perception and cognition have a host. Whatever you are doing, even when in a rush, look for this host within. What is it that sees? What is it that hears? If you practice this introspection earnestly and do not give up, your inherent Buddha nature will suddenly appear. Your inherent peace nature will suddenly appear. When you reach this state, you find it to be a shortcut to escape from the realm of misery." Taking these words to heart, Ohashi began to practice this introspective exercise in secret. Eventually, she reached the point where there was no interruption in her inward attention. Then, one night, a terrific thunderstorm arose, so violent that lightning struck in more than 20 places. Having always been terrified of thunder and lightning, Ohashi huddled under her bedding with her servant girl, Suddenly, Ohashi remembered the Zen exercise. Casting aside her fears, she sat bolt upright. All at once, a thunderbolt struck the courtyard. The impact threw Ohashi flat on her back, knocking the wind out of her. When she recovered her breath, Ohashi noticed her perceptions were somehow different than usual, and she felt an indescribable joy. Subsequently, Ohashi was released from bondage in the brothel when a man paid her debt and married her. She then sought out the Zen master Hakuin and spent the balance of her life deepening her understanding. So in the midst of finding ourselves to be Discord users, YouTube watchers, even some TikTokers are gathered here in this assembly. In the midst of this lightning and thunder of our past and future, this moment-to-moment life, let us remember our training up to now. We know about some meditation. We know about some practice. Allow ourselves now to take a moment to sit bolt upright. That is, to find a comfortable position for our meditation practice. Taking those few moments to find a comfortable position for our meditation practice. Or if you're able and willing to sit bolt upright, totally, wholeheartedly, with your shoulders back, your back straight, sitting with a sense of nobility and purpose and sincerity. And placing our mind on this method as taught to this courtesan. This method of whatever you are doing, even when in a rush, even when your meditation is not perfect, not what you want it to be, look for this host within. What is it that sees? What is it that hears? What is it that is aware of this body at this moment? What is it that is aware of breathing at this moment? What is it? Sitting together, let's practice breathing and being aware. Let's ask the question with our embodiment, with our practice. What is it? What is this? There is no need to rely on thinking. There is no need to jump from subject to subject. Breathing and being aware, noticing. This is not a place for the discursive mind. This is a place for our practice, to just breathe and be aware, to allow ourselves to come back, to rely on breathing and being aware. Enlivening the mind, but not getting stuck. Even when getting stuck, just breathing and being aware. Breathing in richness, awareness, peace. Breathing out, letting go, detaching. Gentle and patient, just breathing and being aware. In certain situations, we need to take a deep breath to refresh, to calm, to reset. But as we find the mind and the breath to be calming and settling, we can allow the breath to find a natural rhythm without any need to interfere with it or to control it. Just breathing and being aware. Because in this practice we are not attaching to thoughts, we are not attaching to or hanging on to any stories or ideas. Because of this, there is no confusion, there is no complication. Thoughts and stories may arise. In fact, they will certainly arise. But our practice is to not attach, not to get involved with them, so there is no confusion. We just to practice breathing and being aware. We notice those stories. We notice those thoughts, but we're not confused by them. We just aware of them. So no complication, no confusion. Just breathing and being aware. Now I invite everyone to bring your hands together with me, to bring your palms together if you like. And we will finish our practice together with a few words of metta. So you can just repeat after me, just a few words. And then after that metta, that loving kindness practice, we can all chant together, Sadhu. And we will say that 3 times. And you can just kind of try to chant along with me and to express your sincerity and your heart in your practice. You're not shy about expressing your practice in that way. Okay? So repeating after me. May I be free from suffering and have clear vision. May I be free from confusion and be at peace. May each and every breath that I take bring peace and stability into my life. May joy and stability flow in my life like water flows in the ocean. May peace and joy flow in my life like water flows in the ocean. May all beings know peace and joy. May my practice bring peace and joy into my life and into the lives of all beings. May it be so. May it be so. May it really be so. Sadhu. 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 And we can bow. We can take a deep bow. We bow to our own practice and we bow to each other's practice, all of us practicing here together. Okay? So I encourage you to enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, whatever it might be for you. And one of the practices that we can do after we finish with meditation, we can rub our hands together like this. Can rub quickly and feel the heat. And then we can massage to our face. Massage to our head. Our eyes. And our ears. Our neck and jaw. Okay, so I encourage you to bring this practice into your life, into the next moments, not to put it down, but to pick it up as we finish, to continue picking up your practice, and enjoy the rest of your day. Do we have, I will open it up, if anyone does have a question that they want to ask before we end our session together. Now is the time that it's okay if you want to ask a question. Okay.
Hey, Bonte,
Yes.
if during meditation you asked us to look within and to ask, what is it that is aware? And I've done this a number of times and I can't find anything. Does this maybe correlate to the same Zen quote of emptiness is form and form is emptiness? That perhaps finding nothing is something?
Don't worry about what you find. If you're finding nothing, you're finding something. So you're surely not finding nothing. But I wouldn't recommend that you take this as your main practice. It's more of an invitation to that mindset, to that questioning that we bring to our practice. The kind of the feeling, the intention that we bring to it of, what is it? Not just taking things at surface level, but what is this? What is this experience? And the questioning itself is more the answer than what we find. Is that all right, Kit?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I've got a question.
All right.
Usually I do my meditation during the morning where I'm more awake. However, when sitting during the sittings here in the podcast, in the stream, it's during the evening and I'm much more prone to fall asleep during meditation. How can I elevate it?
You stand up. Immediate elevation. The clear answer is that it's something that we're dealing with in our meditation. It's always going to be there. 10 years down the line, sometimes there's a sleepiness, or sometimes there's too much energy, anxiousness. So we just come back to the balance point. We come back to our meditative approach. It's more important to focus on resetting and refreshing rather than having that one particular experience that we define as very meditative. The meditation, more than that experience, is like the refreshing and the noticing, falling into sleepiness and then coming back. And what you can do is just to slowly stand up and continue your meditation that way, Dorian. And that's a good way to do it.
Standing up as in stand up on your feet or standing or retracting my back to sit up?
All of those are fine. If you are very, very sleepy, then you can fully stand up. If you are just somewhat sleepy, then you can open your eyes super wide and hold them open as long as you possibly can, until your eyes are tearing. This is one technique. You can squeeze your buttocks as tight as you possibly can to squeeze and hold as long as you can. And this can also help to wake you up. Of course, to sit in the upright posture, There are many methods, but what is most important is that you have the understanding that that sleepiness and coming back is very much your practice. That is very, yeah, that is very much the practice.
I see. Thank you.
All right, everyone. So if something comes up, if a serious question comes up, please don't hesitate to reach out. And of course, if you are investing more time in your practice and you're taking this meditation to be you getting more and more involved with it, please remember that I am here to help and I'm here to support you, and don't hesitate to reach out. That is 100% what I'm here for. And naturally, people can ask a lot of questions from the surface level or from a kind of a spectator point of view, and it's very difficult, it's impossible to answer those or to respond to most of those. But if you're investing more in your practice, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'm here to help you and support you in making it a part of your life. Okay? Thank you for joining, everyone, and see you again soon. Okay? Take care and be happy.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, YouTubers. So we have finished our live stream. I hope you enjoyed. Please take care of yourselves and see you again sometime.